Do you like sports? Are you aware of the thrill that multiplies with the intensity of the matches, producing some eye-catching and nail-biting games? Then you must have heard about the National Football League. If you have, stay tuned for some exciting additions to the information you have already acquired. And for those who haven't heard of the game, stay all ears as you are going to become aware of a beautiful and rip-roaring sporting event. Firstly, why is the NFL so hyped? Are you a fan of movies? The excitement, the intensity, the drama, the efforts. What if I say that it can all be experienced in real life too? How, you must all be wondering? Well, the American Professional Football Association, or PFFA, is just the right place for you. Haven't you heard the name? Don't worry, your grandfather might have. When I tell you that the PFFA was renamed to the National Football League, you will immediately recognize the stage. Yes, it did that for its 1922 season. For those of you who don't know about it, the NFL is an American Professional Football League, and it is rated the highest in the game of football. The league has a planned pattern consisting of 32 highly skilled teams with some unique and extraordinary players in them. Every NFL season has a preseason preceding it. The friendly matches are carried out for 3 weeks, giving the fans a trailer of the thrill they are about to get when the whistle blows for the very first game till the last match ends. The NFL matches produce a high turnout of supporters, the highest in the world if we talk about the average. It is a sport loved all over the world and is the most watched league in the United States. Have you ever watched a Super Bowl match? Then you must be well aware of the hype surrounding the closing event of the season. The Super Bowl is a final playoff between the champions of the NFL and the American Football League, or AFL. The Kings face the Kings. Quite a blood rush, isn't it? Coming up next, what other football and rivalries are a thrilling combo? What makes a match interesting? Well, of course, the game that is being played, but it doesn't end here. If you have ever watched a cricket match between, let's say, Pakistan and Hong Kong, the crowd is merely above 1,000, but India versus Pakistan is always a house full. The views of that match are always record-breaking. That is because the game is fantastic, but the major reason is the rivalry between the two teams. Have you ever watched El Clasico, the famous Real Madrid versus FC Barcelona battle? The scenario isn't much different here either. The rivalry has been going on for years and always produces a quality outcome. In the NFL, the game is superbly played by all the teams, but the rivalries between some of the teams make the match even more interesting, thus skyrocketing the ratings. The NFL and AFL merged together a long time ago, but the rivalry between the New York Jets and New England Patriots has remained unaffected. Both teams have been each other's opponents since 1960. Bill Belichick, former Jets coach, took over the job at Pats after he was named the head coach of the New York Jets, and that too in a last-minute crazy switch. We will never forget the counters between the two teams in 2006 and 2010. This rivalry is terrifying. Moreover, what other enticing rivalries do you need to know about? In football, we have rivalries, but they limit them. For example, in La Liga, there is rivalry between Real Madrid and FC Barcelona, or Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid. But in the NFL, the situation is a nail-biting one, as the battles are never-ending. We have many teams and their historic rivalries with each other, so stay till the end of this video to witness the exciting game of football between the Atlanta Falcons and Carolina Panthers. The fans have to take a 4-hour-long drive, but people do it willingly to witness the amazing fight between the teams. The matches between them are most often close calls, like in 2015 when the match ended with the score 20-13, with Atlanta basking in glory, handing the Panthers their first loss of the tournament. The Seattle Seahawks facing the San Francisco 49ers is also a major event in the league. Since 1976, when it began, the rivalry has always succeeded in being in the headlines. The intensity of the rivalry further rose when the two teams became one of the best between 2013 and 2014. After the championship draw between the two giants, Seattle succeeded in grabbing the win. Even the two managers had a rivalry in their college days when they were in the Pac-12. The Super Bowl game is already one of the most watched events in sports, but coupled with the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Dallas Cowboys, the event becomes more of a thrill. And the best part is that these two teams have faced off against each other 3 times in the Super Bowl. The Steelers have won 2 over a single win for the Cowboys. Coming up next, what other rivalries continue? Does the list end here? Absolutely not. We will make sure your time is worth it, guys. These rivalries are not a game for kids, as they have all been going on for ages, confirming their credibility. Revenge in the game is sweet, but if it is against your opponent, it becomes even sweeter, and that is why the players of both teams put their hearts and souls into the win. The Detroit Lions versus Green Bay Packers is one of the most discussed rivalries, as is one of the oldest amongst the others. It began with the first collision of the Giants in 1930. Since 1933, the teams have been playing against each other twice a year, giving their fans a chance to enjoy the most out of it. We all still remember the mighty encounter between the teams in 2015 when the Packers managed to steal a victory against the Lions even when they were at a 20-point deficit at one point in the game. The next rivalry worthy of talking about is between the Washington Redskins and the Philadelphia Eagles. It too is an old rivalry dating back to 1934, and the intensity of the matches is built upon some close encounters, a number of injuries, and a large fan base for both teams. In a game in 1990, 9 Redskins players had to be subbed subbed off due to the injuries given to them by the Eagles. The rivalry was exacerbated when the teams were named NFC East Division rivals. Coming right up, are there any more rivalries? The rivalries in our list are never ending, so without wasting any time, let us hop on to the next one. The Oakland Raiders vs. Kansas City Chiefs rivalry was initiated in 1960. Both teams have fans overfilled with determination and support for their teams, making their encounters even more exciting. From the 1970s to the next decade of the 1980s, the Raiders managed to give the Chiefs some nice defeating blows. However, the Chiefs got their revenge in the 1990s, winning a match 18-3 against their opponents. The Green Bay Packers are involved in a rivalry once again. This time it's against the Chicago Bears. The rivalry has been one of the most discussed in the history of football. We have witnessed some close encounters between the teams and the foes being against one another in the division, further making their rivalry even more interesting. Some famous players are on the teams, including Aaron Rodgers and Gale Sayers. The New York Giants also managed to become rivals with the Dallas Cowboys. Since the 1960s, when the rivalry began, the matches have ended most often with close calls. For example, the 33-31 win for the New York Giants. Many famous names, including Tony Romo and Lawrence Taylor. Last but not least, the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Pittsburgh Steelers takes things to the next level. Stretchers must be prepared firsthand for their encounters, as the hatred for the teams against one another is unbelievably high. Lastly, some more exciting news about the National Football League. If you are an NFL fan and have a little time off from work, then don't worry. We will inform you about some teams outperforming others in the tournament. You can watch the encounters between those teams, which will surely make your time worth it. The Philadelphia Eagles are no doubt the current best team in the tournament, as they have managed to maintain a winning streak. The Dallas Cowboys have also been outperforming their opponents, winning their opening 3 matches even with a backup quarterback in the starting lineup. You should prepare for the big game against the Dallas Cowboys, which will take place in just a few days. Coach Brian Daboll has gained success in improving his team, the New York Giants, as they have also produced some beautiful games of football in the current season. This was all for today. Some enticing information about the NFL is summed up for our viewers. If you like this video, hit the like button and make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and have turned on the notifications so that you will not miss any video of ours, losing the opportunity to get aware of some exciting news. Do tell us about your favorite NFL team in the comments box. Thanks for watching.